When when I was young, I tried many things, or we tried to do many things. Some of them were successful, some of them weren't so successful. You know about my glass-bottomed ships. Another thing that we did was a valley that could be flooded. A dam was built, and a glass building was built, and then a mine shaft was built down underground that popped up inside of the glass building. And I forget, I only have vague memories of this. Um, the walls, it featured some stone stuff. We tried it a couple different ways. It leaked like crazy, and finally we eventually got it to seal. But basically, it was like a valley that was basically flat with a thing, and the water was pumped up, and it was filled up. I forget if it was 36 feet tall, deep or something like that, but it was a shallow, basically pond with a big glass dome in the middle of it. And it was a test project and was later on taken down. But but basically, it was for research or whatever. And I think what it was there was a high mountain cliff or whatever rock, and a mine shaft was dug down deep and then went out underneath, and it popped up into this big building, and a dam was built way further on in the valley. And it had a leaking problem and eventually rusted away. But it had a stone walkway, a stone thing. The first time I think we tried it, they used stones and they couldn't seal the stones, or at least the stones leaked a lot. So then they tried a deeper mine shaft, I think, that popped up in the middle. It was a random project and it was done a little more recently. I think 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. It was done in the mountains and it was just a test project, and was ultimately a kind of a failure. Um, but basically, they flooded a valley, and there was like a stone thing. I don't exactly remember exactly the details of it. I just remember some of it. You know, they built it. It was white. It used big sheets of glass basically to seal this little enclosure that people could walk down and walk in, and they could look around and see the water. And it used a dam that could flood it, so it could flood about 36 feet deep or so, or 40 feet deep. It was just something kind of cute. I think I might have needed the dam anyway, so or something. I was doing something else anyway, so I was like, well, let's try this out, you know. So they tried it out, and it kind of worked. It leaked a lot, and they had to build a way for it to drain or something like that. It was a random project that was done. That was basically pretty much just a big money expenditure, and well, provided for good research as far as building an underwater building or whatever, out of glass. And it was done so it could be tested to see how much the glass would leak. And they were working on the seals, the glass seals around the building and stuff. And it leaked a lot. And I don't think it wasn't exactly a really big success. It was probably done around 1900, 1910, they say, sometime around when the Egypt archaeologists. When I was funding the Egypt archaeologist thing, I was also doing this or something else like that, which was basically being done at the site of something else that I was doing. And while I was doing that, I think I was building a dam for a mine or something like that. And I thought, let's do this too. Why not? Let's combine some projects. And so I combined a couple projects into one project, and it basically was like 3,000 people, and they built these different structures, and the water from the lake basically ran the mine crusher or whatever was crushing, and they were making metal out of it. But while they were doing that, they were testing out this underwater dome thing, and it was just general research or whatever. And, it was done in sometime around 1900 or 1800 to 1920 or something like that. I don't really remember exactly, but it featured cast iron walls and stuff, and glass roof or whatever, glass dome basically, and sealed in. And later on, they built ships using it and stuff. And I've seen pictures of everything, so I know it existed. So um, anyway, though, but it was done a long time ago. Anyway, though, it's just a vague memory now. And as far as some of the greenhouses and stuff and the trees, Well, they're only supposed to grow an inch a year, and basically it's supposed to chronicle my life really because they were when the greenhouse was planted, those trees weren't able to be moved or something like that, and so they planted the tree or whatever, and it's supposed to basically chronicle how long I lived or how long I had been alive. And really, in the end, I was like, "You're lying. They're lying. I couldn't be that old. I'm not that old. I can't be that old." And they even planted another tree so I could be like, "Okay, this tree is me now." you know, and I think there was one other tree before it that actually breached the roof or something, and they cut it down or something like that. And I was like, "That tree, that's how old I am." And I was like, "Okay, this tree is how old I am." And then I was like, "No way, I'm not that old." And then they planted another tree, and I was like, "Okay, this tree is how old I am now." And and I don't know. Anyway, though, but realistically, I thought they were just lying to me, and I couldn't be that old because So I mean, I don't know. Um, and I did a lot of other things to kind of like just date how old I was, and just figured that all of humanity was just basically fooling with me pretty much because I can't be that old. But there are other things. I do have memories of things changing, and as I change things, years would pass, and or something would change, and it was just kind of weird. But it was my inventing, and I would use money to invent new things and fund new things and change things, create better agriculture, and basically create what is considered the modern day world pretty much over my lifetime. Going back from a very far distant point of basically uh, bone scissors, bone knives, bone everything, to modern day metal scissors and modern day things. So anyway, and was basically the course of my life and everything that I invented and everything that I funded and all the research that I helped to create. And there's a lot of moments in my life when I remember those points in my life when I was like, I decided those things and was doing. I mean, when you look at it in the historical reports, it's like that's what was going on, but I was just doing this and that and blah blah and ordering this and that and stuff, and that was just like the paperwork trail. There's the projects in where I basically was overseeing or the things that I was having done, and that's just the paper trail of my other stuff. So anyway, it's weird and relative.